Live from Chatterbox Sports Studios, it's Off the Bench with Tom Brenneman.
Good morning, good Friday morning. This is Off the Bench, but not with Tom Brenneman. I'm Reid Maus, as you can see on the chat pariah today. And boy, oh boy, do we have a show planned for you. We didn't play very far, but we're going to have fun. Guys, it's going to be box lunch style. We're just going to debate this whole time. Just if you have anything you want us to talk about, let us know. Just a reminder, there is no chat power rankings today. It is Chatterbox personnel rankings today. So it's up to you guys to figure out how you want to do that. Whether it's a DM to Paul and we can get a graphic for it. It is Mouse Cop selecting today since he is the chat power rankings #1. But we've got Jacob, we've got Paul, we've got Elliot. Guys, how are you on this pleasant Friday morning as Trey sticks his head in?
I'm phenomenal. What's going on at the door?
Those are, they might be in the F-150. I don't know. So, I really don't know. I would check downstairs for powers. You know what powers they are. There's definitely some in the trailer out in Trenton. Not good. That's what we do here. Guys, I didn't even hear your answer. We're doing all right on this Friday. We got a big Friday today.
We're doing great.
So on the docket today, we got Xavier playing at 1.
We do. Xavier at 1, playing Oregon. Oregon doesn't have their best pitcher, so we'll see if the Musketeers can pull one off, set themselves up for Vandy tomorrow night. I feel good.
You should feel good.
I feel good.
5 o'clock game tonight. Jacob and Paul. Elliot, you're not going to the Reds game tonight, are you?
I am not, unfortunately. We'll be going elsewhere.
Where are you going, Elliot?
We'll be going to a bar. I'll be going to a bar to watch the Reds game, actually.
Where are you going?
Do we give free plugs here?
Yes.
We give free plugs here.
Okay.
Sure.
Well, I'll be going to Champions on the west side of Cincinnati.
Oh, a Billy O'Connor special. That's his dad.
Yes, that is.
His dad owns that bar.
Yeah. Yes, that is.
Look at you supporting Xavier.
Let's go.
Well, it is a Xavier bar. But I am a UC fan, so.
So you're supporting Xavier?
Yeah, they still have all my money.
Okay.
They take it all.
Champions. Love Champions.
It's a great
What part
place.
of town is that? Specifically on the west side, where am I going to get to Champions?
Not great with areas. Let's see. I think it's on.
I don't know.
I don't know.
All right.
Hold on. I got to think of it. Somebody else talk. Hold on. I'll think of it.
Okay.
All right, Jacob, you excited for the game tonight?
Yeah, I'm stoked. I can't wait.
Are you a Zach Brown fan?
This will be the 7th time I've seen them in concert, so yes, I am.
Seventh.
7th.
That's absurd.
4 in Cincinnati, 1 in Indianapolis, 1 in Louisville, 1 in Atlanta, and then this one tonight.
Everett Henry throws in a Dry Dock Nation. He's from Millville, and that is a Millville special. I went into the Dry Dock when I was 18 years old. No, without a doubt. I was in there when I was in high school. So if that's what kind of place you're talking about. There's an old fable. So there's a bunch of workplaces right there, right by the Dry Dock, and they used to talk about how people that'd be working the night shift would get off the night shift at 7 a.m. whenever you get off the night shift and go straight to the Dry Dock, drink a beer, take a shot, and go home. And I was like, man, 7 a.m. just ripping the day right then and there, getting some good shut-eye after that long night. But the Dry Dock, that's a great saloon. You know, I'm not a big Zach Brown fan, but as you guys know, I'm a huge Zach Bryan fan. And multiple times, you tell your phone, you tell Alexa, you're sitting at home like, hey, Alexa, play Zach Bryan. And immediately playing Chicken Fried by Zach Brown Band every single time. And it's so frustrating. Or when I tell people, hey, I'm going to go to the Zach Bryan concert, they're like, oh my God, yeah, I like my Chicken Fried. They immediately bounce into that song so often. But Paul, first time seeing Zach Brown Band?
It is going to be my 4th time, I think. 3rd time. I saw them their first time they played it. 3rd time. Saw them they played at Great American when they did the whole concert. It wasn't a post game thing. It was a regular main concert. Then I saw them at Riverbend last year. Now this. So 3rd time.
Is this a full concert, or is this going to be one of those things that's like a half concert and then they leave 10 songs or 5 songs in?
No, it's a real concert. I don't know if they're going to do. They said it's a full set.
Okay.
They said it's a full set. I don't know how.
Probably 90 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to do the stage because what I was thinking was because they're doing fireworks too. I mean, it is a full night. If you got your money's worth on the ticket. What I don't know is I guess what they're going to do is do the the game, then the show, then the fireworks, because you can't do the fireworks at 8:00. Well, I was thinking they do the fireworks in between while they're setting up the stage. It's daytime fireworks. Sun doesn't go down until like 9:45 around here.
That would I don't know. I don't know what they would do. It would have to be after. It would almost certainly have to be after.
Well, so here's the thing. The game's at 5.
Yeah.
Gets done presumably 7:30ish. 7:30, somewhere between 7. They got to set up the stage. How long is that going to take?
Yeah,
that's
probably a while.
The concert's probably not even going to start till what, 9?
I went to the Jake Owen post-game show a couple years ago, and it didn't start quite as early. It didn't start at 5. I think it was a normal time game, but they did the fireworks as they set up the stage.
Oh.
Stage was set up after the fireworks ended.
And was that a full set?
It was a full set, yeah.
Okay.
It was an hour and a half, which I think is the same thing.
I was at that too. But that was later, so they did the fire, but it was darker.
It was a later
The game ends at 7:30 or 8:00 tonight. They're not going to do the fireworks in the day.
Yeah, straight.
Is everyone just going to sit in silence as they set up the stage?
Yeah, they
got to
entertain you in some way.
Kind of weird.
How does Sir Boy Wonder know that it's going to take 45 minutes to set up the stage? That's what the Reds sent me yesterday. I got an email too. I didn't read it though, Sir Boy. So you're better than me.
Man, you're just getting ready to dish on Sir
Maybe,
Boy. He put you right in his place.
Well, no, I was wondering how he had the connections, but I think I got that email too.
They can't stop selling beers in the 8th inning with a concert after the game, right?
No.
That's my only worry.
No.
They'll be selling till chicken fried.
That's all I want to hear.
Yeah, I imagine at least. You guys gonna get the Garden Bar?
Oh yeah.
$5 pregame. By the way, shout out to Casey McAllister for noticing that I'm wearing Reds colors. That was an active thought today. Reds are playing well, guys. I know they got the loss yesterday. Kevin Herget. You guys watched the game last night?
Yeah,
I did
for sure.
Take me through your mental state when Kevin Herget gets the call.
I caught the last probably 3 innings of the game. When they cut to the bullpen and it was Kevin Herget warming up next to Alexis Diaz, I turned to my mom and I said, "That's the 2 furthest apart relievers we could possibly have. If we bring in Kevin Herget, I have no faith." And then Kevin Herget walks out there and I fire off a couple tweets about bringing Kevin Herget into the game. And then I realized, we had used a lot of relievers in the last 5 games. There was a lot of, arms that thrown more pitches than they're used to. Got the Brewers coming into town. I don't hate the move in hindsight. Keep Alexis Diaz healthy for these next couple games.
Yeah, it's a long series, right? I mean,
for sure.
Playing consecutively. The fact that they're playing up in Boston, immediately turn around and come here and playing today at 5 is quite the feat. Just keeping it rolling. Haven't had a day. Well, I guess they had Monday off. Was their day off, but still, you've got a long trip. You got to keep those arms healthy. A lot was to do about Hunter Green, who had another great performance yesterday. Went 6 innings. And people consistently are talking about his pitch count, which needs to be brought down, right? He throws way too many pitches. He goes too deep into counts. I think when they played the Cubs last Friday, I walked in here because we were watching it in the studio. Justin Steele had given up 2 runs, faced 7 batters, allowed 4 base runners, and threw fewer pitches than Hunter Green, who I believe struck out the side and only allowed 1 base runner, threw fewer pitches in that first inning. So that is a problem going forward with Hunter Green. But I gotta pose the question to you guys as Reds fans. Is Hunter Green for 5 innings better than any other arm you got going for 6?
100%. For me, it is.
Yeah, I'm ecstatic with Hunter Green as our ace. I mean, couldn't be happier. He's striking out. In those last 9 innings pitch, he struck out 18 batters. Granted, you'd like that to be in 1 game, but he went 5.1 and 4 innings against the Mets and the Rockies, and everyone was tearing him apart, asking him to go. He needs to go longer. He needs to go longer. Then he went
finally got
6 these last 2 games. He's 23 years old. It's not like he's this, he probably shouldn't even be up yet if you're looking at most starting pitchers. He's 23 years old. And this is his 2nd season. He's showing great signs of improvement basically every start. I don't know. I'm very happy with where Hunter Green is right now.
If you can go around Major League Baseball and ask all the general managers, they can pluck 1 young arm, one guy under 25 years. 26 years from any team. Hunter Green isn't the number 1. It's probably, obviously Spencer Strider or someone along that. But Hunter Green's on the short list.
Especially with the contract he has. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Correct. There's not 5 more pitchers than Hunter Green that you're taking before him. And there's a lot of talk, we got Nick Lodolo, we got Graham Ashcraft, we got all these players. Oh, man. We as in the city of Cincinnati, not we as in the Reds fan base. There's a lot of talk about who's the best. If I had you guys, have to ask you this right now. If you could marry one of the big 3, it's clearly Hunter Green, right? Like if you had to get rid of 2 other ones and you got to keep one. Are you taking Hunter Green, taking Nick Lodolo, taking Graham Ashcraft?
I'm taking Hunter Green, but I think Nick Lodolo's injury this year has created a gap in the mind of Reds fans that is much larger than reality. Nick Lodolo is every bit as good as Hunter Green as a pitcher, I think. Mm-hmm. These last 2 years, or last year when he was up, he might have been better on a consistent basis. I mean, Hunter Green's peaks are maybe the best in the league, but Nick Lodolo is a consistent piece. So I think the gap's a little closer than you think, just because of the injury, but I would definitely take Hunter Green.
Hunter Green has been the most consistent starter we've had, without question. And, you look at Lodolo, obviously injured, but he had like a 6.5 ERA. Ashcraft has gone in the tank. He's certainly our most reliable arm starting-wise, which has been our issue, outside of Luke Weaver, who might be the best, worst pitcher in the history of the sport. I think I think I would go to bat for Hunter Green every day of the week over the other 2 starters of the big 3.
One thing that we often talk about Hunter Green's youth, right? He's younger. He's a couple years younger than both Nick Lodolo and Graham Ashcraft. Graham Ashcraft and Nick Lodolo have had more prominent innings. Hunter Green was drafted out of high school. And that is one of the major determining factors for a young talent is college or high school. There was a push, about 20 years ago. It was 50-50 in that first round. High school talent versus college talent. It's overwhelming majority college talent now because teams have realized those 3-4 years that you get against higher level talent gives you a window into whether or not these players are going to be good. It lets you understand whether or not what you truly have here, if it's just talent or if you have a game or 2. Now, Hunter Green hasn't had that luxury. His talent was so overwhelming that he had to be taken in the first round. And still, it feels like, though he's not as polished as Nick Lodolo and Graham Ashcraft at the time, which is why you get the college guys, his talent sees through. He is so much more talented than almost every arm in the league that they truly have something here. And you're going to see some polishing with Hunter Green. And who knows? Maybe in 6-7 years down the line, he turns into a bullpen arm. I don't know, because he has that skill set. But for right now, and I know he's gone longer over his past 3 outings, 5 innings of Hunter Green is better than 6 innings of anybody else. He's that good. Now, you're going to ask a little bit more out of the bullpen, but the bullpen has been better. Struggled last night with Kevin Hergert, given 6 runs in the 8th inning, but that was, you're going to lose a game. You can't win them all. It just seems so clear to me that Hunter Green is the best out of the 3. And there's a reason that he got locked up. There's a reason that he's the ace. You're seeing it in real time. That it seems like almost whenever somebody says, I want Nick Lodolo more, I want Graham Ashcraft more, it seems like they're just trying to be a contrarian. Because what we're seeing is that Hunter Green is the best. He's just got a couple flaws to get through. He gets hit hard sometimes and he throws too many pitches. But even when he gets hard, you're giving up a double, he has that ability to strike out the next 2 guys and not allow a run coming in. Yeah, for my money, from an outsider's perspective, Hunter Green's the guy. If you can marry any of them, it's Hunter Green. Paul, working hard on the producing table over there. How's it going?
Well, I was trying to get a different thumbnail in there so that people didn't think that I wanted to give you your credit. So we got a different thumbnail in there, and everything's looking good. It sounds like people can hear us, and the thing is on. We're live.
It sounded like they could hear you too much.
Well, that one guy he's got something out for me. He doesn't like me. I don't know who that guy is.
Who is it?
He's new in the chat.
Blackmore?
Yeah. He's new in the chat. Not a fan. That's fine. Not everybody has to be. The chat power rankings. So it was supposed to be, we flipped it on its head today, and it was supposed to be a
Chatterbox rankings.
The Chatterbox, the personnel rankings. So Mouse Cop is in charge of that, but he said because you were hosting, he hopped out of the chat. We haven't seen him since. So, so everybody's got to figure out however they want to do the personnel rankings because we are not ranking the chat today.
We are not.
We're not ranking the chat today. So, who do we turn it over to Sir Boy Wonder if Mouse Cop? Because we have to put a deadline here on Mouse Cop to get back in the chat and figure things out. So I'm gonna say, let's say, how long are we going today?
As long as the show is. let's not put a limit on us.
Okay, so let's say 10:45. We have. Oh, there's Mouse Cop.
Cut that down. Give him till 10:30.
No, he's here.
Oh, okay.
All right, so Mouse Cop. I don't know how you want to get me the list, or if you all want to like debate in the chat and then figure it out. But let's see if you guys can get me a list by 10:50.
10:50.
10:50. Try and get me a Chatterbox personnel list by 10:50. However you want to get it to me. Mouse Cop, you can DM it to me if you want. I know you know how to do that. We
all know your Twitter account.
We all know your Twitter account, Mouse Cop. So if you can DM it to me if you want.
We all know where you're at. Nick Kirby actually puts in there for your information. Green is averaging 5.2 innings pitched per start. The MLB average is 5.1, so he's slightly better than the MLB average. I would hope that your ace and one of the most talented arms in the league is at least slightly above average, which is where it is. So it's still a problem. That doesn't solve the problem just because he's slightly above average. You want more out of him. But I'm championing Hunter Green here. Yeah.
I have one other little piece of administration here. I put Casey's registry in the chat. Casey is in here, but I put his registry in the chat. His wedding is tomorrow, so if anybody wants to be nice to Casey and buy him anything or send him anything, I know the chat has been very supportive of Casey and his wedding endeavors up to this point. So felt like I should put that in there. So the link is bookmarked in the chat.
The next time Casey is on this show, he'll be a betrothed man, which is over a week. It's tomorrow, Paul. Go ahead. Who's gonna boogie more, you or me? I feel like you're a wedding dancer, Paul. I feel like you get down on the dance floor.
Yeah, I'm liable to make myself look kind of stupid at some points. Yeah.
Paul looks like he uses the stanky leg. Do you use the stanky leg, Paul?
I'm not gonna say I don't.
Okay, all right.
What do you do? What's your
E-Train, what's your dance move?
I do the grocery shop. You know, it's a little bit of that.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of that. You see that?
Right.
Yeah, that's my go-to. And we'll see. It depends on the alcohol's flowing too. So will you guys be drinking at this wedding?
We will be. It is an outdoor wedding. It's gonna be 90 degrees. There will be a lot of drinks consumed.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you'll sweat it off. So that's good. You'll sweat out kind of the alcohol, so there's more alcohol to be had.
That is true. We will keep a nice even keel.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah. So we'll see what my drink consumption may depend on Xavier Baseball's result because I may be driving straight to Nashville straight from this wedding. Maybe losing. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, me and Mariano were talking about the car situation. We don't quite know what we're gonna do tomorrow. All right. So that was what happened yesterday with the Reds game, and what we're going to talk about Hunter Green, rather. You guys were telling me something. I was not on Twitter a whole lot yesterday. Was driving to Evansville and back. Got there, dropped off what needed to be dropped off, drove it on back as the great company man that I am. You guys were letting me know about the C. Trent Rosecrans Kirk Herbstreit little spat that happened on Twitter. I don't know if the chat saw this, but for someone who didn't, please explain it to me like I'm 5. I love the lower third that you have going here.
Yeah, that's a good one. So C. Trent or Ken Rosenthal tweeted out something basically, or like, let's trade India. You can't be afraid to trade India. And then C. Trent basically backed it up. And then Herbstreit came after C. Trent. I have the tweet. There we go. I'll fix the graphic. Sorry, everybody.
If you have the tweet, you can DM it to me, and I'll pull it up on the screen.
Okay. All right. So
send me the DM.
Okay.
And I will produce the heck out of this onto the show.
Look at this. Uh-oh. Here we go. Silence.
There it is. Paulie Fritz.
There he is.
Are open. There he is.
First DM to Paul. Sliding into Paul's DMs. Not the first to do that.
I love how
Paul.
we do this all live.
Yeah.
Okay.
So here we go.
So keep going. So
Okay.
keep
All right.
talking us through
So
it.
Kirk basically insulted C. Trent. He was going on a rant about how he's this diehard Reds fan, and he didn't know anything. He called Matt McCain on this video he made.
Good.
And then he came out with this tweet to C. Trent, and he said, "Never told you how to do your job. I don't even know who you are. I'm a fan who loves his team, and you're a troll looking for attention. Hustle back to creating clicks and causing trouble."
So he didn't know who C. Trent was.
No, he did not. He pulled the Conor McGregor DM to Draymond Green on him. I don't even know who you are. Which is crazy if you're going to call yourself a Reds fan and you don't pronounce Matt McClain's name right, and then you're going off like their number one reporter. Going to be a tough look for you.
So there's the tweet.
Herbie,
what are you doing, dude?
how do you not know who C. Trent is if that's your team?
Yeah, it's tough. I don't understand. And then Herb Strait's going to keep going on about how he's the biggest Reds fan in the world and he loves the team. But I mean,
So here was the original.
All right, play it for me so I can.
Oh.
It's 2 minutes. I don't need 2 minutes.
Get into a lot of arguments on Twitter, but I just read that article, and it just kind of, here's a team that's finally showing a pulse and showing a little bit of grit, which is really what they need to compete with these bigger markets. And I'm just picturing Jonathan India at his locker, and all of a sudden he gets asked questions about what are they going to do when they bring Ella De La Cruz up, and they're going to end up having to move you. And it just kind of infuriated me that we're contemplating that when this team is finally playing competitive baseball. And it looks like they're almost starting to kind of gel. And this is just a couple weeks after the Yankees came through Cincinnati and just, went like that, get out of the way here in Cincinnati. And on the back end of that, they're starting to kind of almost form an identity. And I think India is right in the middle of that, is really kind of the leader of this team.
So what would you do? I know you explained it a little bit on Twitter. So you take Ellie, you put him in the outfield.
I'd put him at third. I'd put him in the outfield. There's got to be room for all these guys, right? I mean, you're talking about a team that didn't have anybody other than Joey Votto for a number of years. And all of a sudden you get a guy like Spencer Steer, who's a third base guy and can really play around. And they got him over at first right now because of Votto. And I don't know if that's his future or not. They moved Nick Senzel, who came up as an infielder. They moved him to the outfield. Now they move him back to third base because of some of these injuries that they've been dealing with.
Yeah, whenever.
We're out of here.
All right. So some people are saying that they agree with Herbie's take. Some people are disagreeing with Herbie's take. So obviously he's wrong in a couple of manners. He didn't pronounce Matt McClain's name right. He didn't know that Ellie De La Cruz has played around, correct? And he didn't know who C. Trent Rosecrans is. Now, does all the misinformation that he provides sour his take in that, keeping these guys, the base of his take? And Jacob, can you expect anything less from a guy who sends his kid to St. X?
Somehow I saw that one coming. But, I like to defend Herb Street, but it's tough when he clearly doesn't know what he's talking about. I say it all the time. You see it more in the NFL than you do any other sport with the fans on Twitter trying to take, an insider role, trying to be their reporter. My thing on Herb Street is if you don't know, just say you don't know. Just be a fan. Root for your team. They're playing well. It's fun to watch. Just be a fan. Like, he talks football, and he talks football well. He doesn't need to talk baseball. Like, just go back in your little corner, wait till college football kicks off, do game day, have fun, chill out on the Reds. You obviously don't know anything about the team.
And this was also a double down. The initial take is not technically wrong. He basically said, we don't need to trade India. We can keep all these guys together, which is true. I don't think you should trade Jonathan India as of this moment. But he doubled down, insulted C. Trent, and now he looks horrible. Looks absolutely horrible.
That's what I don't understand here. And Trace and I were talking about this yesterday. When you get into a situation where you realize you're wrong, there are two streets you can go down. There's a fork in the road.
Yep.
And you can either go down the one path where you acknowledge,
take a bit of humility.
Yeah,
you're going to take one on the chin.
acknowledge that maybe not necessarily that you were wrong, but maybe that you just weren't really informed on everything you needed to be informed.
You're saying I messed up.
Yeah. And then there's the other side of it where you get defensive. And as human beings, you get defensive. Like if somebody doesn't like you, you get defensive and you lash out. If somebody insults you, you get defensive. Some people's defense mechanisms is to do something like this, which I don't agree with and probably wouldn't have done. And especially because then when you do it, you have to make sure if you're going to get defensive that you have all your ducks in a row. Your ducks are not in a row if you're going to say that you're a massive Reds fan and don't know who C. Trent is. Because even if you don't like him, even if you don't read him, you still see him.
Yeah.
He's still all over Twitter. There's only a handful of Reds beat writers, and there are a significantly less amount of people who have been around the Reds and who have covered the Reds and are still with the Reds as long as he has. So to say that you're this, diehard Reds fan who's one of the biggest Reds fans on the market, to then not know who one of your biggest beat writers is, whether you like the guy's writing or not, that doesn't matter. That's irrelevant here.
I still see people defending Herbie's takes, which I don't think is the point that we're trying to make. I think, as with everything, there's context around things. And when you immediately discredit yourself, as Herb Street did, it discredits your takes. It does. Whether you guys think that so or not, it truly does. And I got to ask a question about Herb Street. Is this like kind of shocking depending on what we knew about Herb Street? But I don't know. This seems incredibly out of pocket for Kurt Herbstreit to go down this hole. Does this surprise any of you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, granted, I could be off base here, but I feel like I haven't even seen Kirk Herbstreit be this massive Reds fan until this year, maybe at the back end of last year. He's tweeting about the Reds every game, win or lose. I don't know. I feel like this seems...
I feel like he was very vocal when they sold the team last year, right before the year. He was pretty vocal about that.
He always popped up in big moments.
Right. Is he a Bengals fan? He's from Dayton, so I don't know.
He calls NFL games, so I don't know if he's even allowed to say.
I guess you're right. Did he play in the NFL at all? Did he at least make a team? I'm looking him up right now.
No, he played in college. I don't know.
I know he played for the Buckeyes. Someone let me know if he ever made it into the NFL, at least in some capacity. But I don't know. I'm gonna ask the same question to you guys. Is this surprising to see Kirk Herbstreit go down this road?
I think it's surprising. I don't know why, if you're gonna call yourself a Reds fan and then you attack the Reds Twitter community. I don't get it. I don't think he's ever done anything like this, like you said. He's a pretty prominent figure in sports media, I'd say. And for him to go start this little Twitter spat with C. Trent is strange. It's very, very strange. And again, you're insulting the team that you profess to love. I don't get it.
Right.
It's a lose-lose for everybody. Everybody just loses.
It is. It's just bizarre.
Yeah.
It's like you don't need this. It's a very weird thing going on. I don't know why.
He interjected himself, and then he was wrong, which is what makes it weird, and it feels out of pocket for his character.
Yeah, well, it feels like when people get defensive and then it turns into Twitter spats, it's between fans.
Correct.
It's between fans who are just emotional about the team, not. Well, I guess he's claiming to be a fan, but not somebody at his level that is as well respected of a media personality as he is, one of the biggest in all, not just college football, just all of sports. I mean, think about if you ask just a random person, name 5 sports media personalities, a lot of people would probably have him on the list. So it just feels very weird. Do you think this will spark a Reds game day, him and C. Trent? Every game before the game, they travel all around, and then him and C. Trent just go at it in debate.
Pre-game, C. Trent and Kirk. Post-game, Nick Kirby and Trace Fowler.
Chatterbox Sports. C. Trent and
Kirk
Herbie.
Well, once Chatterbox gets the rights to the Reds broadcast, that's clearly what we're going to go for.
College game days, non-compete, can't stretch this far, right?
Well, Chatterbox Game Day already has a little bit of a platform. Just switch it over to sports.
Hell yeah.
Chatterbox Game Day. Can't wait for the fall. All right, guys. Tonight, the Reds play the Brewers. They are currently 3 games back of the division lead. It is June the 2nd. If I told you as Reds fans, preseason, that come June 2nd, the Reds will be bringing in the division leader with a chance to tie with them if they get the sweep, a chance to make headway in the division race in June 2nd, what would you guys have said if I told you that preseason?
Well, last night after we lost, I was mad for roughly 10 seconds that we didn't go 6-0 on the road trip, and then I realized there's at least a reasonable expectation that I had the Reds going 6-0 on a road trip at the end of May, early June. And I would have never guessed we're here. I mean, I expected to have a little fun with this team,
Right.
Jonathan India's a fun guy. You knew Matt McClain was in the win, coming up. Some personalities on the team, but I didn't think we'd be anywhere near this close in the race this late in the year. It's the beginning of June.
Are we teetering with, because I feel like everyone before the year, and I made a shtick about this a couple weeks ago about how the Reds find ways to, create the most pain as possible. That was the point of the joke, whether it's true or not. Are Reds fans setting them up because of the Reds' success, which I am pro just giving in, right? Just giving faith, giving your heart to your team, right? Don't be afraid to get hurt. Are Reds fans setting themselves up because they're 3 games out, because they just took 5 of 6 on a road trip to Wrigley and Fenway, and now they're 3 games out from the division lead? Are they setting themselves up to get hurt?
I don't think so.
We're not there yet.
I would say most people understand the situation. We're not that much better than the last place team in the National League. So it's like, even though we are 3.5 games out now, I think everybody kind of knows still.
According to the standings, the Reds are equal distance away from having the division lead as they are from having the worst record in the National League. They're 3 games away from both sides.
I love the National League.
It's great.
It's so much fun.
Well, so taking back to, the hell that was this past weekend when the Cubs got swept by the Reds. After the Cubs lost game 2, people started tweeting, the Cubs now have the worst record in the National League. And I was like, whoa, what? What the heck just happened? So, yeah, according to what I'm seeing, it's looking like it's about the equal distance apart from taking first and being last in the National League, which is just amazing. Now, this year of Reds baseball has been so much more fun in so many ways, not only because they're competing better, not only because these young guys are coming up, but as I alluded to earlier, we're in month 3. We are over a third of the season, and you're looking around, when the Reds play, you're looking at other team scores. Oh, how did the Pirates do today? Or when the Brewers are playing, how did the Brewers do today? Did the Cubs lose? Did the Cardinals lose? You're doing scoreboard watching in June. This is the most important series that the Reds have had since, the last month of 2021? There's going to be fans that not only come out because of the circus that is the Zac Brown Band and Fireworks Friday, but there's going to be fans that come out all weekend. And at the end of the day, that's all you can ask for as a fan, is that you are engaged in your team. The MLB season's long, and it's got its up and downs. Obviously, the Reds are riding high. But these games, win or lose, are going to cause illicit emotion, and that's a good thing. That's all you can ask for. Guys,
the question, if I may, Reid,
go ahead. Interject.
Thank you.
Hosting.
Thank you. The question I would have, is if we are still 3.5, 4.5. I don't know what the number would be at the deadline. I think that's the 1st of August, last day of July, something like that. If we are still competitive of that nature, do we go all in? We're assuming Elly De La Cruz will be up soon, sometime within the coming weeks, assuming we don't go on this 15-game losing streak. But while we're competitive now, I assume Elly will be up. If we are competitive at that point, will the Reds be buyers at the deadline? If they're not buyers, so let's say we're still competitive at that point, would not buying be an indictment on this franchise?
Jacob?
We are so far ahead of schedule.
We are.
If we sell prospects for 3 months of team control.
I'm not even talking about selling prospects. I think there's guys on the roster that can be traded right now.
I think the all-in way to look at this Reds team this year is we go all in by keeping guys like Buck Farmer, who has a 1.5 ERA, free agent at the end of the year. Usually trade him for
teams always need relief help.
A mid-average prospect, but you go all in this year by keeping Buck Farmer on this Reds team. Guys like that. Well, this team and it would have been 2019 have very similar records, and that team went out and bought Trevor Bauer. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't completely knock, but that was a buy for the next year.
Yeah.
He thrived in 2020. He had another year of full team control. Then he was a free agent. We obviously let him go. But I think if you're going to look at us, the Reds being serious buyers, I think it's for guys that are underperforming this year and we think could really help the team next year.
I'm not even saying going all in. I'm saying get a reliever, maybe getting one more starter. Shane Bieber is going to be dealt at the deadline. I'm not saying we can get Shane Bieber, but if you package, I don't know, if everybody loves to trade Jonathan India now, trade India. Trade India and Senzel for Bieber. Obviously, nobody would take that deal, but I'm just saying something like that. I think it's a possibility. The St. Louis Cardinals don't rebuild. There are teams that don't rebuild. The Reds rebuild. We've normalized rebuilding. We've rebuilt 3 times in 7 years. It's horrible. If we are competitive at the deadline, I'm not saying go all in, but get a couple pieces like we did. I think we got Sessa. Who else? Justin Wilson we got at the deadline with Castellanos, 2021. Just a couple guys like that. I'm saying go a little bit in. Not all in, just like a quarter of the way in.
Just like put your toe in the water.
Yeah.
Dip it in.
It's like a 75-degree day, and you want to go in the pool, but you don't really want to get all the way in.
Yeah.
And you're like, how hot is the water? Is it a heated pool?
Yeah, like the swim trunks aren't on. You have just like regular shorts on, but you're at the pool. They can get wet a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So I think a little bit in. I think we can go a little bit in, but that's only if we stay hot right now.
I think that's the worst possible scenario.
I would agree.
We either need to go all in,
right,
or let this amazing farm we have right now do its thing and get up. I think going half in, half out is the worst thing we can do.
The Cincinnati Reds are the only team in Major League Baseball to not advance in the postseason since the year 2000. 2000. They have not advanced in the postseason.
Sucks.
It's an indictment on the way we've been doing things. Now, obviously, this is different. Nick Krall, #GetCrawled, he's been doing things better. I'll admit that fully. But if we're competitive at the deadline with August, what is that? So there would be 2 months, 3 months to play after that. I don't know. I think there's a chance you can go a little bit in. I'm not saying sell prospects. We can look at the guy, Kevin Newman. Kevin Newman's the hottest guy on the team right now. I think he's 12 for 24 in his last 7 games, Kevin Newman. So I'm not saying you're going to get anything good for him, but you can certainly get something for him. Give me a decent reliever. Our relievers have somehow pitched well. I don't know how. They've pitched well until like last night. They'll have these blow-up games. But Hergert had like a 2 ERA before last night's blow-up.
Well, let's not get trade happy here, right? Like
No.
what is trading Kevin Newman for another bullpen arm add value to the roster? You got to look at it. How are you going to add value? Like if you're gonna buy, what are the deficiencies of this team? Where are they?
Starting pitching.
Starting pitching. So getting a reliever ain't going to help anything. The only way in which the Reds actually will try to do something at the trade deadline, and I'm just being realistic because they're probably going to do nothing. If anything, they're going to sell. The only way in which they bring talent in is via trading major league. You're not going to trading prospects is a no starter. Can't trade any of the prospects because that's, as Nick Kirby put in the chat earlier, that's what leads to rebuilds. When you give away your future, that's where you'll look down the line and go, all right, well, we got to start this all over again. So trading prospects is a no. The second thing is where do you get value? And the only place where there is a need for, an incessant need for value is the back end of the starting rotation. How do you get that? Well, you're going to probably have to trade some of the talent. And I'm telling you right now, Kevin Newman ain't going to get anybody better than Luke Weaver.
No.
The only way that this makes sense is the pieces that you mentioned earlier. And it's back to the same conversation that's been had on Twitter, the same reason that Kirk Herbstreit got in this Twitter spat, which is you got to trade value for value. Jonathan India has a lot of value. If you want to get rid of him, you got to bring back an arm with some control for future years. But at this moment in time, I can't see the Reds pushing for anything. And the whole dipping your toe in, as you illustrated earlier, when in life do you get anywhere just given a little bit of effort, right?
That's a fair point.
When in any aspect of life, do you just kind of half commit? Nowhere. So you either got to go for it or you hang tight, you believe in what you're building, and you just ride these teams out. And if anything, you trade the pieces at their peak value, like Jonathan India, Nick Senzel, whoever's been rumored to be traded, and you see what you can get back for it. But I don't know. What's Paul cracking up?
AJ worse, the Will Myers. Maybe we can deal Will Myers for a bag of peanuts or two. I mean, what a bust. Because that was the idea.
Yeah.
That was the Kevin Newman idea.
Just trade him.
Brandon Drury
Good
got.
Lord.
Oh, what a trade. Victor Acosta's playing great in single A.
Yeah, that was the dream, right?
Yeah.
Had some success with Brandon Drury.
Best trade we've made in the last couple of years is probably Tyler Naquin. Hector Rodriguez's OPS is well over 1,100 in single A.
Who'd you guys get back for Tyler Malley? Was it
Steer and CES.
Yeah.
I take it back. I rescind.
Okay.
And Tyler Malley Torres.
Who'd you guys get for
UCL.
Suarez and Winker?
Williamson
Been okay.
and
Fraley?
Fraley.
Yep.
We got Marte for Castillo. Marte's tearing it up.
I would
This
have
Reds team is-
rather had
So
Luis-
so
I
the
would have rather
trade
had
that you
Luis
said was
Castillo.
the best trade that the
I'm
Reds have made
taking the
probably
Naquin
is
trade.
probably
third or
back
fourth.
to like 5.
I'm taking the Naquin trade over the Castillo trade, only because Naquin was leaving at the end of the year anyway. Like, we had 2 months of Tyler Naquin anyway, and we got an 18-year-old
Love Tyler
who's
Naquin.
a top 25 prospect in baseball right now, probably.
Tyler Naquin was great back in the
Raquin.
2016 World Series. God, I love Tyler Naquin. He played great in that.
He
game
had,
seven.
that was the inside the park home run game, yeah? Or wasn't that the season he hit the home inside the park home run? That's Tyler Naquin. I'm almost confident. He did the fist pump after he did it. I can't be wrong here, right?
He made a terrible defensive miscue in
Okay.
Game 7 of the 2016 World Series.
Okay. All right. I'm
That's
thinking
why
of
we
the
love
wrong
him.
thing.
That's why we love him here at the old desk. All right, before we move on from the Reds, any other parting thoughts about trading, about where they're at in the season, about this series against the Brewers? Any other final parting thoughts?
Yeah, it feels like 1990. It really does. It feels like 1990, wire to
What-
wire.
How much fun did you have in 1990, Elliot?
I wasn't born yet, unfortunately. I was born in 1999. So that would be 9 years. I haven't seen any type of success with this Reds franchise. Zero success. Negative success.
I've had this conversation about being a fan. And this comes in a large part from being a diehard Cubs fan, is people like to allude about the Cubs' 108-year gap. But in the time that I've been a Cubs fan, the Cubs have been very good, right? I mean, they made the postseason in 03, 07, 08, and then they had the span of 3 straight NLCSs making the postseason 4 straight times. Can you claim, like, as a fan, where do you claim, right? Do you claim what you've seen as a fan? So the Reds' success was all before all of you guys were born. The Reds, for your lifetime, have not been very fun to watch, though they have a history. But you personally didn't get a partake in that enjoyment. So as a fan, I don't know, I guess, the correct words in which I should phrase this question. As a fan, what do you get to claim? Do you get to claim the entire franchise? But you didn't get a partake in it, so what are you claiming then?
The invention of YouTube leads me to a definite yes on I get to claim it all. I've watched the 1990 World Series. I've watched 75. I've watched 76. Feels like I'm there. So,
Does it?
So I'll take
You know what's going to happen?
When the Reds are losing 100 games a year and I can throw on the 1975 World Series, it makes it a little bit better.
It makes me feel good that we've had success, but I certainly don't claim that. And it goes back to the UC Xavier debate. UC fans like myself
Right.
will claim the national championship from 1960.
The Final
the
Four.
back-to-back. Yeah, the Final Fours. But I personally have never seen anything. Xavier has dominated the Bearcats in every way for the past, 20-something years, 23 years. So I would like to claim it, but I don't think I probably shouldn't. I'm happy that it happened, but it didn't happen to me. So that's how I look at it.
I think this is the point that I've always tried to make as a Xavier fan defending the no Final Fours, as a Cubs fan defending 108 years, and the Bengals are getting there, but the Bengals have never really been that great. I guess I can just my bounce back whenever someone tries to make fun of me for my fans is like, listen, as me a fan, I've had a great time. it's been a lot of fun. The Bengals weren't a whole lot of fun, losing in, 6 straight playoffs, first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, that was brutal.
That was not a lot of fun.
That was brutal.
But the Cubs have been a lot of fun. The Xavier's been, a great time. So I've always pushed back like, what have you experienced? Like when my dad starts making fun of me for my Cubs fandom, he hits it. I mean, he was 15 years old during the Big Red Machine. He was 16 years old, so he was in the prime of being a fan, right? But when you three start making fun of the Cubs, you guys don't really have don't have a leg to stand on is the whole point I'm getting to.
Yeah, but that's a poverty franchise. It's still poverty. Yeah, it's still poverty. A little bit poverty, no?
Well, if you think about it, the Reds and the Cubs have won the same amount of World Series.
Yeah. Okay.
The first one was given to them. Right?
Let's pump the brakes on this.
1919. They were just like, the team literally gave it to them. They were trying to lose.
That's debatable.
So the fact that you guys hang the banner at Great American Ballpark is ridiculous. Just hide that thing. Because that is, I mean, when another team is literally giving it to you and you're like, look, we won the World Series. Get out of here. You don't win shit.
You guys were so disrespectful to Steve Bartman. I'll never think of the Cubs the same way.
And win the World Series back in 03, so no matter. And then 1940, the world was at war. There was more important stuff going on. Ted Williams wasn't even in the league. Don't count. They started a whole women's baseball league just to, have some competitive baseball, and you're claiming 1940, so the first two don't count. I'll give you the Big Red Machine.
Go down to Great American, look up on that wall. Tell me if it says 1919 and 1940.
It does.
It does.
But I'm saying.
No.
Who's the poverty franchise for claiming them?
Cubs.
Cubs are the poverty. Yeah, Cubs are poverty. Yeah, Cubs are still poverty.
Cubs.
Yeah, the Cubs' first 2 World Series happened when the Ottoman Empire still exists. So. Yeah, so that is what it is. All right, guys. So big news that happened. Well, before we get into the Bengals, let's bring up this tweet. I believe I put. Hey, you're gonna do a little producing here.
Yeah.
Noah Syndergaard.
No. Paul's on it. Hold on.
Paul's on it. The Noah Syndergaard quote. I don't know if you guys saw this. Just an absolutely hilarious quote from Noah Syndergaard. If you remember, Noah was once thought to be one of the best young pitchers in the league because he was. He was on that 2015 Mets team that went to the World Series along with Matt Harvey and Jacob deGrom. Obviously, the Dark Knight didn't turn out too well for Matt Harvey. And now, after some injuries, we're seeing Noah Syndergaard not playing so well. And it's been about 3 or 4 years since Noah Syndergaard has been, all the way back to 2019. So it's been over 4 years since he's pitched well. And we're trying to get this quote.
I got it right here. Here we go. Here we go. 3, 2, 2.5, 1, go.
He said, I would give away my hypothetical firstborn to be the old me, which is hilarious that that's in his mind. I mean, he said that in a quote. He's like, I will give up my first child to pitch the way I used to pitch. Guys, would you give up your hypothetical first child to pitch the way that Noah Syndergaard used to pitch?
Without a question.
Jacob Jr. just giving away to be 2017 Noah Syndergaard.
I'm going to ace in the MLB. See ya, little boy. Whoa. Adios.
Whoa.
No family ties for old Jacob.
No family ties.
No, I would not. That's absurd. That's ludicrous. That's ludicrous. He had one good year. Is that right? 1, 2.
Yeah, he was good for like 3 or 4 years.
But that peak is what you're trading your
That's what
your
you're
firstborn for.
Right, you get that.
You get to be peak Noah Syndergaard.
No, I would not. Would you trade it to be a peak of yourself right now? Would you trade your firstborn child to be the peak of yourself?
Elliot, I'm at my peak.
No, you're not. We are 3 years past.
You
3 years past.
That's fair. That's fair. That's actually pretty fair. Paul, you and Lizzie's first hypothetical child.
The answer is a definite no.
You're not giving away Lizzie's firstborn to be Noah Syndergaard at his prime. Now, you used to pitch for John Paul II.
I did, baby.
John Paul the Great.
I did, baby. Boy, that was a time in my life.
Can you imagine how great you felt when you had the shutout?
Yeah.
You had the 5-inning run rule shutout, right?
Had a lot of those in high school.
Noah Syndergaard's a one-time All-Star, and he's never won the Cy Young.
I take it back.
Nolan Ryan never won a Cy Young, so let's pump the brakes.
Well-
Noah Syndergaard's not Nolan Ryan.
Right.
I'd like to see where he finished in the rankings because Noah Syndergaard, the highest place he got in the Cy Young Award winners'
eighth.
votes was 8th. Not ideal.
Are you
ideal.
trying to argue to me that Noah Syndergaard was not an ace? Not really good in the MLB?
Yeah, I was clearly wrong about that. The first 4 years were pretty serviceable with a sub-3 ERA there.
Right.
But I mean, it's not like he was tearing up awards. So I don't know. No, it's an absurd thing to say.
If he would have won a Cy Young award, does that push you over the edge?
Yeah, it does.
You would trade the child for
Yeah,
a
because
Cy
that
Young
comes
award?
with incentives. That's incentive based.
How many All-Stars was there?
One.
I'll keep my firstborn.
One-time All-Star. That's his only other award. That's his only accomplishment. He's a one-time All-Star.
Yeah, I'll hold on to my baby boy for a one-time All-Star. You give me a Cy Young. See ya.
Two pitchers who have never won a Cy Young. Nolan Ryan. Cy Young never won a Cy Young. Coincidentally enough. That checks out. That checks out a little bit. All right. So recently in news, Zach Taylor made the comment that Joe Mixon, see if I can pull up exactly what he said, but essentially said that Joe Mixon's going to be the running back for the Cincinnati Bengals this year. And if you've been watching this show, you know we've talked about this for a long time. About 2 months ago, this was all we were talking about, was what in the world is going to happen with Joe Mixon and the Cincinnati Bengals. He's due about $12 million, which I think in today's day and age is too much for a running back. That has always been my take. I think that's the take of most rational people. He didn't get a whole lot of snaps in the AFC Championship game, so we didn't even trust him to play in the biggest game of the year. And here we are. We're going to pay him $12 million. And we just drafted a running back. We always talked about what was the worst case scenario for Joe Mixon. And it always seemed to be that the worst case scenario was that he stayed on the team for this current contract. Now, they had till, I believe, June 1st to cut him. That didn't happen. Is there still room to restructure his deal? I don't know if you guys are well in tuned with the Joe Mixon stuff. Is there still room to restructure his deal, or are we locked in for $12 million with Joe Mixon as the starting running back?
Realistically, I think we're locked in. I think he's going to be the running back this year at, the current contract. I think if we would have put some pressure on him earlier in the offseason, there's a chance we could have got a better deal out of it, but I just don't see that happening anymore.
So, is this the worst case scenario? As Bengals fans, are you behind the Bengals knowing that they could have cut him and gotten that $12 million, knowing that they could have restructured his deal, knowing that they could have taken a running back earlier in the draft, as some alluded to? Are you okay now looking in hindsight where it seems like the Bengals are going to have Joe Mixon for $12 million this year? Are you guys okay with that?
I'm okay with it. We know what we're going to get with Joe Mixon. He's still a good running back. Obviously, he offers nothing in the pass block game, but he's still a serviceable running back. I would say he's a top 15 running back for sure in the NFL. So I'm happy with it. I guess I'm not happy with it, but I'm okay with it. My life doesn't really change. Our depth chart in the running back position's not great. Chase Brown, Travion Williams, and Chris Evans. So that would
faith
be
in Captain America.
That would that would be a little bit of a concern of mine. But I with Joe Mixon, I'm happy with Joe Mixon. I'm okay with Joe Mixon.
Personally, I truly think this was the worst case scenario.
Really?
I'm over Joe Mixon.
I agree.
I'm over Joe Mixon. $12 million. Listen, every running back contract has never worked out. Really, and the Joe Mixon's extension was probably the closest that one has come out, at least in the past 10 years. You look at
Derrick
all
Henry, 2,000-yard seasons after his contract extension.
Okay. You look at that's fair. You look at the teams that have won the Super Bowl, and year after year, it has been a guy on a rookie contract, or it has been a veteran on an incredibly cheap contract. Saw that this past year with the Chiefs. You can go on back. Go ahead and look up Super Bowl winning running backs. The last elite running back to win a Super Bowl was Marshawn Lynch. And this was before he re-signed. This was when he was on his rookie deal. Wasn't getting paid a whole lot. And I just feel like you are strapping your team in a season where You've got a lot of big decisions to make in terms of contracts. Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, T. Higgins. In a season where you have this, you can't give up $12 million for a running back that you can't even trust in the AFC Championship game. What does Joe Mixon do that is so much better than, grabbing a guy off the scrap heap, letting a rookie go? All the running backs in the league, very few of them are make their offensive line as opposed to the other way around.
Jacob has submitted Exhibit A.
Super Bowl leading rushers from the winning team since 2009. None of them have been paid more than $2.5 million, and that $2.5 million man was a wide receiver, Percy Harvin. Not a single one. High-paid running backs do not equal championships in the current NFL. It just doesn't work.
Now that leading rusher, Percy Harvin, so he was the leading rusher.
He was the leading rusher for the Seahawks in that Super Bowl. So Marshawn did not get the ball a whole lot. Correct.
But Marshawn was an elite running back. But your point still holds true.
If you're a run-first team with an expensive running back, it doesn't work anymore. It just doesn't. It
seemed like there were so many routes to go down, and this was always the worst route. And I don't know what happened. I don't know how it came to this. I think the Bengals are still going to be fine. I think Joe Mixon's still going to play well. But $12 million for the production that you're going to get could be used in so many different avenues on this roster building.
At the end of the day, this is the last year of his contract. If he comes back, it's not going to be anywhere near this money.
I guess this is where we still are the Bengals, right? We talked about this on Wednesday. And we see the Bengals evolving in real time. We see them do things that they used to never do. The Bengals used to be the laughingstock because you can almost guarantee you can understand what the Bengals were. Out of anything, you can understand the Bengals, right? They were never a complex organization. But you started seeing evolution, right? You started seeing them, they get the Ring of Honor, and they're doing all these things with their roster and giving people extensions before their terms are run out, and they're doing exciting things that other winning franchises have done. But you still see the old Bengals sometimes, and you just want to wring their neck sometimes. You're just like, come on, let's keep evolving. And the next evolution, the simplest evolution that you've seen successful teams do is don't put too much capital at the running back position. And here we are. They give an extension to Joe Mixon, and it's been all right. It's been good. And he had a chance to opt out of it, to use the money elsewhere, and they didn't. At least not yet. I mean, I'll willingly admit I don't know if there's still time to restructure the deal. That would be great if they did. But it seems that it's going to be $12 million. And we move on next year.
I just think he's been pretty good. I like
he has
outside of pass blocking, and the argument remains the Isaiah Pacheco's of the world can always fill in that role. But he's had close to 1,500 yards each of the last 2 seasons, all-purpose yards. 800 rushing, 450 or whatever this past year, and then 1,200 rushing the year before. I don't know if Travion Williams is going to put up those numbers. I don't know if Chris Evans is going to put up those numbers.
Sorry, go on.
No, you're good.
It's not about the output that he's had. It's about that you could have got similar output for a third of the price.
What would that have option looked like, though?
Well, he wasn't in the last play of the Super Bowl. It was Samaje Perine, almost that whole drive. He didn't play a whole lot in the AFC Championship. So these coaches obviously don't love Joe Mixon.
Now, he played great against Buffalo.
Amazing against Buffalo.
Great against Buffalo.
One of the better games of his career.
I'd argue, though, that when you're talking about the last drive of a Super Bowl with a couple minutes left, you have to be able to pass block, and he's unable to do that. That was the reason he wasn't in. Now, obviously, I would have put him in on I think there was a 3rd and 1 close to midfield that we didn't get. I would have had him in. But anyway, the point remains, I think that was a scenario based, not a player based.
If you're paying a guy $12 million and you can't have him on the game-winning drive to go to the Super Bowl, what are you paying him $12 million for?
That's pretty fair.
Thing.
All I know is Joe Mixon would have dove for the ball.
Golly.
At least.
Golly.
God.
Joe Mixon would have dove for the ball.
How many times have you guys rewatched that play? Just to because if you get a different angle, he clearly couldn't have got to it. But still, you rewatch it, you're just die for the ball, Samaje.
Well, I subscribe to NFL Game Pass, and I watch that game probably twice a month just to bubble up that hatred.
I'm not a rewatcher.
I'm a big rewatcher.
Unless it was a good outcome. Then I'll.
Yeah, I don't rewatch the bad ones.
I don't rewatch the bad ones.
Yeah, the only bad that I wanted to rewatch that I have never gone back and been able to find, it doesn't exist anywhere. I know it exists, but I can't find it anywhere, is the 2016 Wisconsin Xavier buzzer beater. Yeah. So obviously the buzzer beater is all over the place, but Edmund Sumner was called for a charge that led to that possession of Wisconsin winning the game on that three-pointer. I've never been able to find whether that was actually a charge or not. And I've for 7 years wanted to go back and rewatch it. I've never found it. I've never been able to find it. And the guy that does the like the Xavier historian of like the fan that does who Nick Kirby actually works with on some Xavier stuff. he can't find it either. So I think it's just lost to history.
I love that moment.
The TBS archive.
That was a good moment for me.
So funny moment about that. There was a Xavier kid. So that was my freshman year.
You're breaking Mouse Cop's heart.
There was a Xavier. Oh, I know. Trust me, all of us. There was a. We watched that game in the student center, and they had it on like one of those big blow up screens, you know. And so when the shot went in, some kid took a chair and threw a chair across the room and like screamed a ton of profanity. Obviously, like everybody was pissed off, but you know, it was a lot of like, you know, the upperclassmen were watching it at like the bars or watching it in their own house or whatever. It was a lot of underclassmen that were watching it. Looking back in retrospect, like it was a lot of underclassmen. And this dude just like a chair just flew across the room, folding chair just flew across the room. I'll never forget it.
I love fans.
Yeah,
I love
great.
fans and losing moments.
Yeah.
Their best nature always comes out in those losing moments.
Yeah.
My family still talks about the way I acted after the AFC Championship game this year. I listen, guys, if you don't know this about me, I pout. And I pout hard. All my friends, my family, they know if things don't go my way, I pout. And the reason I pout is because, you know, if it normally has a meaning and I get my way after it, you know, I'm a spoiled little kid.
Effective.
Right, it's effective. So I pouted so hard. And my dad, I was, as Tom said, I got pretty tanked up at the AFC Championship game. And after the game, I probably yelled 16 times on the way out of the stadium, does life even matter? Do we have meaning? And we get to the hotel after it. You know, we've had an hour to digest. And I guess I was like kicking cars as we're leaving, just like, golly, whole night. Likes to pout. I love it. Apparently, so we sit down in the hotel lobby and turn on sports as we're eating a pizza, you know, getting ready to go to bed. And SportsCenter comes up and they start showing highlights of the game. And I guess I immediately like unplugged the TV out of the wall in the hotel lobby. And I was like, we don't need to see this shit. And my dad looks at me and as serious as he can be, looks me dead in the eye and he goes, is this how you handle adversity in your life? And I like looked at it, I was like, Dad, it's just a football game. Like I'm not like, just letting you guys know the shtick goes beyond the show sometimes. So I looked him right in the eye. I was like, Dad, I mean, come on, like, let me do my thing here for a second. But yeah, I pouted pretty hard. So
I'm trying to think back. If we want to go around the room and think of, like,
I got a good
sad one. Okay, so I've told the story a million times. The last time I actually cried, was when Brett Favre and the Vikings lost. I was a big Brett Favre fan.
Okay.
So for you guys that are new to this,
good guy.
Loved Brett Favre. So the last time that I
winner.
remember crying was when the Vikings lost to the Saints.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think back, like the Florida State Xavier game in 2018. So I had broadcasted the Kentucky State Championship game that day and had just gotten back to my apartment with my roommates. And I don't even remember – I'm not going to say like I wasn't disappointed or anything, but like Xavier was winning that game so handily, and then the game just all of a sudden Florida State came back and won. And that was the same day as the UC game. Like there's so much happened that day that I don't – like the Wisconsin game was devastating. The Florida State thing just happened so fast that I don't even remember being that like – crushed about it. Just like it happened, then all the
Florida State game was bad for the city of Cincinnati.
Honestly, what I remember most about that, like 5 minutes after the game happening, was looking at my roommates and going, Mac's gone.
Yeah.
Like that was what I was more disappointed in, because I just didn't like, I didn't know he was gone for a fact, but we Like we kind of knew he was probably gone.
Yeah.
And so I think that was like I remember the only thing that I really remember about that game was looking at my roommate and going, I think we just watched Chris Mack's last game at Xavier. And then we all just kind of looked at each other and we were like, wow, that's it.
Yeah,
2012 Nationals loss was bad. That was the Red. I mean, I'm just thinking of like, what was yours?
The 2012 Reds was horrific.
We do this like once every 2 months too, and I love it.
Well, Elliot and Jacob, we haven't done it with them.
2012 Red. I got home from school, and the Giants. I don't know if you remember Angel Pagan. I want to say Angel Pagan in center field, or
Is it Angel or Angel?
Oh, I don't know. Well, I'm gonna Angel. My bad. Pronunciation police. My bad.
You're okay, Elliot.
I got home from school and I was watching. I think he made 7 diving catches in center field. Every ball we hit, like we played a good game. Obviously, the grand slam by Posey killed us. But I remember going upstairs in my room and I just laid in my bed and I just cried for the rest of the night. The other one I remember, so the UC Nevada. I don't know if you remember the UC Nevada, all my UC fans out there, when we blew a 22-point lead in 10 minutes. That was brutal. I turned the game.
That was the same day as Xavier
Yeah, it
Florida
was.
State.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
it was hours apart. So I have a hilarious video of me. so there's a great video of me. I don't know if I have it on my phone, but there's a great video of me laughing at the TV, and the last line of me is me like I was very self-aware of what was going on here. So I was laughing at the TV when the final buzzer sounded, and then I turned back to my roommate who was taking the video, and I go, God, Xavier better not blow this one tonight. That's the line. Then the video cuts off. Whoops.
That loss was. I turned the game off. I was at lunch and I had it on. We were watching it there, and we were up 22. I had homework to do. I think it was a Sunday. I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
So I had homework to do. I turned it off. I'm like, all right, easy. We'll be on to the Sweet. That was to go to Sweet 16, right? Yeah. So I turned it off. I got a bunch of texts with the last like 3 minutes, and they're like, turn it back on. So I go over and I just sit. I'm in a dorm in Toledo, and I just sit with my roommate, and we just sit in silence as we blow this lead. And we turned off the lights. I have a couple pictures where I put a bag over my head and just wrote UC fan. But that was a heartbreaking one. I have one more story. I got cut from, and this is a little bit different, but it's kind of same vein. I got cut from the Elder freshman soccer team. My very first year at Elder. It was right before the school year. I was really excited. I was a pretty good goalie. I was back. It was about, 40 pounds ago, but I was a good goalie. The issue was I was short. I grew a lot in college. I was a very late bloomer. So I was about, 5'4", 5'5" in freshman year. And they're like, you can't be a goalie. You're getting cut because you're too short. I got home that night. I was a big collector of bobbleheads. So I had about, 40 bobbleheads, ripped all their heads off. I ripped all their heads off, and I threw them out the window. I was so upset. My mom was very concerned. That could be construed as serial killer behavior, but I did not. I just threw the heads. I ripped all the heads off. I threw them out the window in the yard. I had to go pick them up
I've
after.
never heard of anything like that.
Yeah,
I don't feel comfortable seeing you sit in that chair considering what's in front of you.
I was upset. I was a bit upset. I don't think I've ever been that upset in my life.
Is this the only time Marty has stopped bobbling in the last 3 months?
He's
nervous.
Yeah.
He's not bobbling.
Sorry,
It's
Marty.
the first time.
I'm sorry, Marty.
He's always bobbling. He's not bobbling now.
Yeah, but those are my stories. Those are my 3 absolutely crushed sports stories.
My dad texted me the day that UC lost in Nevada, and he said it was at halftime of the Xavier game.
Yeah.
And he goes, UC blew a lead. Xavier's going to win. It's a good day.
Tough.
And I just text back, this was when I believed in jinxes. I said, Dad, you just did us in. And Xavier lost.
I love your dad's Twitter. All right, Jacob. Jacob, go ahead.
Super Bowl is easy, obviously, to be the most upsetting one, but
You were there.
I was there. I sat in.
You were at the game?
I
You
was
were
at
at the game?
I was at the. I haven't missed a Bengals playoff game either the last 2 years.
There's that St. X wealth.
You don't see that at Elder or Baden.
No. We watch the
Or
games
John
with
Paul the Great.
We watch these games with the regular folk.
Whoa.
Well,
go to
I'm
the
not
end.
going to say the Super Bowl though. January 9th, 2016 is still the worst day of my life when the Bengals lost to the Steelers. Jeremy Hill fumbled that ball.
Oh, my God.
That Vontaze Burfict pick, he ran into the end zone. I have never hugged more strangers
So happy.
in my life. I might have been happier that Vontez Burfict pick than the Jermaine Pratt pick. Like peak happiness-wise, because it was Steelers.
Right.
And it hadn't been as long, but it was still
It was
a long
it was
time.
5 straight years, right?
Yeah.
You're just like, golly, we did it.
That one sticks out for sure, but I lend myself to being more of a college football fan. 2 years ago, hopped in the car in Tuscaloosa, drove 11 and a half hours up to Ann Arbor to watch my Buckeyes play the game, rivalry week. Michigan beats us for the first time in however many years.
Go Blue.
I'm sitting 5 rows up.
Go Blue.
In the heart of Ann Arbor. That walk to the car was
Blue.
miserable.
It was worth it.
Tears.
was.
Tears.
Tears?
Lot of tears. Oh, I'm a big crier.
I
Big
love to
post-game
cry.
crier.
I love to cry. It's my favorite thing.
I like how we have emotionally intact group here.
Yeah.
We got emotionally. I mean, we all shed our tears. This is me celebrating after the AFC Championship game.
Let's cut it. Every Sunday is a religious experience. My first memory of watching the Bengals was Corey Dillon breaking the rushing record.
I didn't want the tweet in there. This
My
was a
dad
Jim-
went out and bought the house brand new TVs for the 2005 playoff game. Tears were shed when Jeremy Hill fumbled. This run has been truly surreal.
This is me at the hub in Hamilton. That's our video board. Zoom in on me in a second. There it is, right there. Look how tight those pants are, guys. Yeah. Look at those pants, guys. Captain Schmedio. That was fun. That was a fun game. God, that was awesome. I just remember my friend after that game just kept looking at me. I don't think he said any other words for like 3 hours. He would just look at me and just go, "The Super Bowl! The Super Bowl!" Unimaginable. All right. As Mouse Cop given,
Yeah, no, we're all good. And I got the graphics and everything. We're all good.
do you are we is this how we're ending the show? Before we do this,
Do we have anything else?
before we do this, we have to give out picks.
Oh, yeah, we do.
So I'll go ahead and give out.
if it's against the Reds,
Reds
I'm gonna
money
be
line.
upset.
Reds money
Brewers.
line.
You guys are taking Reds money line. I'm taking Campbell to win the Columbia Regional plus 215 on Betfred Sportsbook. The head coach at Campbell is from Hamilton, and they've got a good team.
All right.
They got a good team.
I'm taking Tulane baseball to win whoever they're playing. They're playing, who do they say, Paul?
The best team in the country.
All right, they're playing LSU, right?
Yep.
Okay, so they're 19-40. I believe that's the worst record ever allowed in this tournament, but they beat Houston to advance. So I'm going to go the 19-40 Green Wave. I think that's plus 600. You'll find it at Betfred. I think somewhere around there. So let's go, baby.
All right.
All right.
You putting it on the spot, Jacob?
Yeah, I'm going to take – no, I have it. Plus 368, Reds money line over 10. Bats are popping out tonight. We're scoring some runs.
Oh, Reds money line
hot
and
day.
over 10.
And over 10.
Okay.
Hot day.
All right.
Play those boys together.
Love it.
Balls
Love
carrying.
it.
All right, here we go. Let's go. The honorable mentions. We start off.
Chat Power Rankings presented by Encore Technologies.
Oh, yeah. Wait. Hold on. Reed, do it.
What?
The Bengals report is brought to you
Oh,
by.
yeah. Let's do this, right?
Gotcha.
Paul, you got me on the end of this one?
Absolutely.
Bengals Report is brought to you by Encore Technologies. Encore Technologies provides IT solutions for a data center world with a suite of services from mobile computing to
Desktop to data center, supporting both centralized and
Yes.
work-from-home computing models to improve efficiency and.
productivity. Visit Encore.tech. The path to innovation begins here.
And then how about our people at Pawnee?
Guys, I don't know if you
about
guys
it?
been seeing this. I know I'm a chat pariah, so what I say doesn't have a whole lot of weight, but there is a new premium alkaline water, and I got to tell you, this stuff tastes great. Listen, Wednesday night, I play adult league baseball, and it was hot. It was hot out there on the turf, and what I did, I stopped at a gas station, got me 2 bottles of Pawnee, and we run-rolled that team. So if you're an athlete and you need superior hydration, just give it that little bit of edge. The superior hydration, the alkaline, it's beautiful. And the thing that makes Pawnee great, it's made right here in Hamilton, Ohio. They use natural limestone filtration, unlike the artificial processing that other brands look. Look, I'm looking at it right now. Ingredients on this bottle, water. You go to those other alkaline waters, they'll have sodium, they'll have all these different things to get you that alkaline, get you that superior hydration. It's all natural right here. And the result is the best tasting alkaline water in the world. Visit their website at pawneewater.com. That's PAHHNI water.com to see where you can buy this great tasting water. All right, let's do
Okay,
this.
here we go.
Oh, one more. We got Trace Fowler found some Pawnee yesterday.
We did, yeah. Right there.
I'm serious, guys. If you take a picture of you buying Pawnee water and tweet it at Chatterbox Sports, we'll post it out because we love to see supporting great water, and it really is great.
Reds game tonight, concert tonight. I got some Pawnee water in my Saturday morning future.
Yo, absolutely.
Absolutely.
It's superior hydration. River's Edge last night, 90 proof twang. Had the entire amphitheater packed right here in Hamilton, Ohio.
Guess what they were drinking?
They were drinking Pawnees.
Amen.
All right, let's do these chat power rankings. What do you got for it?
All right, here we
How
go.
low am I, Mouse Cop?
Here we go. All right, honorable mentions. So Elliot and Jake are honorable mentions. He says wanted to be fair and give them more than a week under their belt before giving them a rank. Jake, I think he means Elliot. Jake, are you a Clifton boy too?
I'm not.
Okay, so he
Yes.
means Elliot.
So that was me.
Okay, so I'll update that. Update for the log. Elliot being a Clifton boy, however, will always be detrimental. So that's honorable mentions number 1 and 2.
That seems fair. You guys, I mean,
Okay.
Jake,
Seems
you've
fair.
been here 2 weeks. Elliot, this is your first week.
So that's fair. That's fair. The only other honorable mention, very important one, Adam Kunkel. Northern Kentucky boy who knows how to ball would be remiss if he isn't mentioned honorably.
The thing that I can't take away from Adam Kunkel is that he plays the game the right way. And that's what you could always say about Adam Kunkel.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right, number 6.
It's absurd.
Seho. I guess the podcast life is better than hanging with the boys from 10A to 12P.
Fair.
Do you want me to comment?
No, let's move on.
Okay. All right.
Paul?
Number
Trace.
5, sorry. I was working on it. Number
Trace.
5, Trace. Electric, but again, not good enough for box lunch, and he missed a dunk this week
He
on
did
the
miss
Reds
a dunk.
postgame
I love
show.
how he put the Georgia. I like how he's giving their collegiate alliances with the ranking. I feel like Trace is a little low. I have to be like on a dishonorable. There's no way that I'm above anybody
You
else.
can't be top 5.
There's no way I'm above anybody else.
No way.
Let's see where we go with this.
All right, number 4. This is actually funny. Tom, solid performance, but missing a day in an already short week isn't going to look good when compared to the rest of the competition.
Now, Tom had a good reason for missing a day. We missed Tom, and he's with the community.
Yep. All right, number 3. Paul.
Paul's number 3.
Paul will always be number 1 in our hearts, but let's be honest with ourselves. Thursday was a tad bit rough with the tech. We all know BLP is not a mic and sticks guy, but sometimes you got to step up. You can only go up. It's true.
To defend Paul, he was also training me. So he was doing like 5 things at once over here, and while he was training me to do this.
Sometimes you just need to look behind the curtain, and we had some fun yesterday.
I think
was
yesterday's
fun.
show was elite. It got me through the drive to Evansville. That was good stuff. That was good stuff yesterday.
Okay. Number 2, Kirby.
I'm not even in the rankings.
An astounding performance on OTV on Thursday, along with solid performances on Chatterbox Reds, has been flying low and is about time he gets his flowers. Who else on the staff has a Nick Cage pillow? What a treat. Exquisite. Great use of exquisite.
Is that a Paul? Is that a Paul?
It is.
Is that a Paul Easter egg right there?
Great use of exquisite. And that leaves number 1. Is it Reid or Casey? Who got left
Come
off the
on.
rankings?
Come on. Let's be real about this.
It's Casey.
Oh,
sorry,
shocker.
Reid. The boy is now a man. While he probably still makes a stink list, Mouse Cop, would be doing a disservice to my duty by not putting him at number 1. While he's number 1 in the rankings, he is single no more this Saturday. Congrats on the sex, Casey.
Congratulations, Casey. It is awesome that we're seeing my man Casey. So I'm not even brought up.
So Reid, you did not even make the rankings.
He didn't even give me a dishonorable mention.
graphic?
There is no dishonorable mention.
That is
There
worse
is
than-
no graphic.
That's worse. Like, at least if I'm dishonorable mention, he's thinking about me. Like, at least, like, you know what I'm saying? You know when your coach reprimands you, like, he yells at you? At least he cares enough. When he stops yelling at you is when you're done. Just doesn't care. So, Mouse Cop, I'm sorry that it's gotten to this point that we're just inconsolable.
So in taking a page out of the Reid Maus playbook where he would put the Chatterbox Employee of the Month at the bottom,
Yeah.
the chat or the Chatterbox personnel rankings will be the first Friday of every month, reviewing the last month. So today's June 2nd. So
I like
that
it.
was kind of like from
yeah,
May.
I like that.
So the first Friday of every month will be the Chatterbox personnel, and the last ones will rotate who does the chat rankings. That's how I figured we should do it.
I've got to get Chad Waits in charge of the chat power rankings. I got to get Chad Waits in charge of the personnel power rankings.
So Chad Waits has been paying us off. You need to pay off Chad Waits.
Yes. Yes. Guys, if you don't think I am
Casey, I'm going to Disney World.
That's awesome.
Chad Waits does watch.
He's been gone a while.
He watches or listens to the show later. I think. I don't know if he does it every day, but he did at least. He got a new job, and he burst onto the scene. Then he got a new job, and now he's kind of been MIA, at least live during the show.
Is Chad Waits a burner? Is Chad Waits not real?
Is Chad Waits Tracy Jones?
I'm not 100% convinced that Chad Waits is not a burner.
Tracy Jones is in that chat, I'm convinced.
Speaking of Tracy Jones, so I was watching yesterday, and Tracy Jones comes on, and the first thing he says, is Reid over there? And I wasn't. And I, like, whatever happened after that, it diverged off of. He had something queued up for me, and I'm so nervous as to what it was.
No. I think he got back to it. I think he wanted your take on the ChatGPT baseball rankings.
Oh, yeah, which, by the way, Tom was making a big to-do about Adam Dunn. Adam Dunn's the second best Reds hitter in the past 25 years. What?
He struck out a lot.
Hit home runs and got on base 36% of the time.
I'm with you. I'm just saying.
Nick Kirby was pulling out OPS comparisons in the chat yesterday.
I thought Griffey was too high. Griffey was 3.
Anyone that talks about Ken Griffey the Red, most of the time is talking about Ken Griffey the Mariner.
Right.
Like, it's not.
Griffey was great his first year for the Reds.
Right.
And then won comeback player of the year, in 06? Other than that, not a whole lot from Ken.
I do remember the 500 home run counter. I remember going to games and seeing that like for a year and a half because he would never get there. I think he worked his way up to it slowly, but that was that was an electric factory at the Reds game when he got it.
Yeah,
So, I don't think that we were there.
I
Actually,
thought that like a Scott Hatterberg might have made it. I thought maybe a Todd Frazier would have made it. Like, there's a few guys that I thought could have been there.
So Chad Waits is a real person. I forgot about this because I was not at the bachelor party yet, but Chad paid significant amount of money to Casey for the bachelor party, and Tomas FaceTimed him. So Chad is a real person. I forgot about that. Chad is, because we had the debate. We had the debate whether Chad was a burner account of somebody else. And Chad, I forgot. Chad is I have not talked to him personally, but Chad is a real person. We know that.
All right.
Okay. So we got that cleared up. Is there anything else from the? I'm just kind of looking at the chat. I think people like the rankings.
You know what makes me happy as we're rounding out this show in Mouse Cop leaving me off the personnel rankings is that at least in one person's mind, Mouse Cop and me will be forever linked, and that is Tom, because he was convinced that I was the player formerly known as Mouse Cop. I don't know if it was the Xavier fandom. I don't know if the fact that my last name's Mouse and Mouse Cop. I just didn't know what the association was. Tom was convinced for the longest time that I was Mouse Cop. So in his mind, the two are always linked. And I'm still not convinced that Tom isn't fully out that I am not Mouse Cop.
No. there are definitely burners in the chat. We know that to be a fact. There are definitely burners in the chat. What I want to figure out is who Tracy Jones is. Because we don't know. Unless you guys know, and I don't know. But
he has to be in there.
Tracy
though.
Jones, we know
He
Tracy
watches the show, right?
We know Tracy watches the show. We know he watches the show. Does he comment in, and what's his burner?
How we get this is we make a Tracy Jones burner. And we start spewing off stuff that Tracy wouldn't say. And we smoke him out. We smoke out Tracy Jones. It's whoever defends Tracy Jones with the whoever defends the Tracy Jones burner.
So we thought Tracy was George Santos. I think we kind of figured out it wasn't, but maybe we were wrong. But the thing I was going to say about that is we just got to figure out who is in the chat, because George Santos has commented when Tracy has been, unless he's really
on the show, unless he's good,
pulling the wool over our eyes, as Tracy would say.
I think there's a chance Tracy's leaned into this all the way and is like commenting while he's in the interview.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, we know that George has commented while the interview is going on, so we got to figure out who is consistently in the chat that is not in the chat on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 11:30 to noon. I don't know. Or maybe he just watches and doesn't comment, but that doesn't seem like a Tracy Jones thing.
Right. AJ puts in that Tracy's burner was Sharon Peters, and that was true. Or was it? Was it not?
No. Tracy, I know who Sharon Peters was. It was not Tracy Jones.
Oh, no.
Well, there were two
Are you
Sharon
doing
Peters.
PI work behind the scenes?
Yeah, I know who Sharon Peters was. It was not Tracy Jones. But there were two Sharon Peters. Neither one of them are around anymore.
Sharon Peters was Sharon Peters.
Yeah. I don't know. There was one of them I know for a fact who it was, and it was not Tracy Jones. But it could have been the other one. I don't know.
Any other housekeeping things? We'll be back Monday. Tom will be back.
Yeah.
Box Lunch will be back on Monday.
Yep.
We'll be talking about how the Reds performed against the Brewers. We'll be talking about how Xavier performed at the regional. Good luck to the Muskies. Hopefully, hopefully you're not here Monday. Paul will not be here Monday if the Muskies make it that far.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I would like to be doing a regional final game on Monday afternoon, but we'll see. Actually, things went really well.
So you'll be you do the broadcast for it if.
Yeah. I'm not just going down there to be a fan.
Oh, really?
There was actually a discussion last night we were having with the Xavier SID. We were talking about the rights to do the games, and I was like, I'm not driving all the way down there overnight after Casey's wedding just to go to I'm gonna call the game with Mike if I'm going down there. Do social media content, stuff like that. So
okay.
Yeah, I'll work it if I'm going down there. I'm not just going down there to watch.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, good luck to the Muskies.
So, we'll see. All right.
Good luck to the Baden Rams going for the regional championship tonight. By the way, I saw that Elder won, but St. X was not in the regional championships.
We're playing in the championship for lacrosse, state championship. So
the secondary spring sport.
Reid, what is what's the update on Baden? I saw they won last night. I was following along.
They play the regional championship tonight.
Where is that?
Out at Mason. I'm going to go. They play Chaminade Julian. So the Division I and Division II regional championships are between Catholic schools, Moeller versus Elder and CJ versus Baden. CJ famously had what president go to the school?
Oh, I have no idea.
United States president went to Chaminade Julian. Anybody know?
Give me a year.
Was the president?
Yeah.
No, year of graduation.
Oh, well, he was the president from, let me pull this up so I get the correct numbers, from 1999 till 2006.
That was the president?
What?
Yep.
Well, would it?
No.
Couldn't have been 2006.
Yeah, 1999 to 2006. He was the president of the United States. Has anyone in the chat got it yet?
What? Are you saying 1999?
1999 to 2006.
So that's George?
It is not. It is Josiah Jed Bartlett on the TV show The West Wing. Martin Sheen. Martin Sheen went to...
Okay, so it was a shtick.
It was not... He was the president. Martin Sheen, Charlie Sheen's dad, went to Chaminade, and he's Josiah Bartlett.
I'm glad you brought this up. So I was
The West Wing's great.
Lizzie and I were watching London Has Fallen the other night, and Morgan Freeman is the vice president in that movie.
Right. Those movies are ridiculous, by the way.
They're so just over the top.
They're ridiculous.
Over the top. But always a good, need an hour and a half
Fine,
to pass
yeah.
time.
Watch your phone.
Top,
Not
throw it
really
on.
paying attention.
Look up for an explosion.
What actor would you vote for as president of the United States that has played the president, that you feel like has played the president well enough in movies or whatever, that you're like, that guy's got it. He has been the president enough that, it feels like Morgan Freeman has played enough presidents that you feel...
I'd vote for Morgan. I'd vote for Morgan Freeman right now.
Now, I'm not all the way caught up on Designated Survivor.
Kiefer Sutherland?
Kiefer Sutherland's a hell of a leader. That's a leader of men.
Have any of you guys watched The West Wing?
No.
Not enough. My dad loved that show, so
It's got to be great. Your dad loved that show?
My dad loved that show.
Oh, it's great. It's great television.
House of Cards rocks. But
House of Cards rocks.
We are not
I'm
voting
gonna keep
for
Spacey
Kevin
in my back,
Spacey.
but I'm not going to say Spacey.
We are not voting for Kevin Spacey.
Not saying Spacey.
Martin Sheen?
Reid, thoughts?
Kevin Spacey's my favorite actor.
He's a great actor.
Great actor. I had that take before everything came out. And
Usual Suspects, phenomenal movie.
He's I love what is it called? American Beauty. American Beauty is one of my favorite movies of all time. Kanye West is my favorite musical artist.
Me too.
So I pick winners. Is what I'm getting at. I picked the winners, essentially. Yikes. Kevin Spacey.
Oh, Alex Wallace with a great submission.
What do you say?
Randy Travis from National Treasure.
Reid is a crappy guy.
Crap, that was mean. That was just straight
Because
mean.
I think Kevin Spacey's a great actor. Like that feels.
Yeah, but it seems like you're a little too excited to say that. Like you're like, yeah, Kevin used to be a really good actor. I really enjoyed his work.
Well,
Kevin Spacey's my favorite actor, man.
Listen, like
you haven't seen his deep stuff yet.
The deep tracks.
Early '90s Kevin Spacey. Ooh.
Here's the thing about Kevin Spacey is, like, when I like an actor, a musician, I wear it. Like the Cubs, Kanye West, Zach Bryan. Like I'm very, I let everyone know. I very much own that. And that was me with Kevin Spacey. Like he made a movie. I'm like, dude, I gotta go see this new movie. I love Kevin Spacey. Love American Beauty. Love Usual Suspects. Love all the shows. Loved House of Cards. And then when it came out, I got texts from everyone. We're like, hey, you picked a winner there with Kevin Spacey. So it became a joke. Like Kevin Spacey's my favorite actor, and I still own it. Like I still enjoy his work. It's just you gotta.
I liked how you lumped the Cubs with those guys there. I like that. So you know Alfonso Soriano's watching this right now, and he's furious with you.
Have you seen how big Alfonso Soriano is?
Yeah, I did. I did see that.
No.
Dude is a unit.
He's jacked. Yeah.
Absolute unit. I mean, he's humongous.
Paul's on the case right now.
Like he's bigger than Mark McGuire taking steroids.
he's
probably taking steroids too.
Not that. Yeah, he's probably on steroids. Like not that height. Like
he looks like he could come back in the league right now. He does.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
he's humongous.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Go look up Alfonso Soriano now. It is ridiculous
Whoa.
how big he is.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Huge.
Yeah.
Well,
All right, that's it. We've
All
tried
right.
to wrap up the show for the past 20 minutes, and we keep.
hey,
getting
we're having
sidetracked.
some fun.
We
It's a
said before
Friday.
the show, we walk in, and I let everyone got nothing prepared. So we're just gonna shoehorn. We're just gonna fly by the seat of our pants, a la Chatterbox style. And we got enough people in the room. We can talk for 2 hours. And Paul kept asking, he's like, "How long is the show going to be?" And everyone just kept going, however long it is. So apparently it's an hour and 36 minutes. We thank you. This has been Off the Bench. We'll see you on Monday. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. Congratulations to Casey. We'll tell you about his wedding when we get back on Monday. See you guys. Thank you for being on. Reid Maus. See you.
We are off.